Tanya. Sarah Rabbi, the rabbis taught us. Amar Rabbi Yonatan. Rabbi Yonatan says, אין לך כל מצווה קלה שכתובה בתורה, שאין מתן שכרה בעולם הזה, ולעולם הבא. He says there's no small mitzvah in the Torah that you will not receive a reward both in this world and in the next world. It's not true what they tell you that you only receive a reward in the next world. Also in this world, a person who keeps Torah mitzvot has a reward.
But then you get all these examples of people who starved and sacrificed and gave up everything for the sake of the next world.
Right.
And it's kind of
but the Torah says clearly, like,
there are definitely two camps here. Two camps in the Jewish world. One which is all about Olam Haba, and one which says no, Olam Hazeh also is important. Rabbi Peretz once told us that a person who lives truly by the Torah, there's no greater Olam Hazeh than that. It gives you the tools, the ability to really understand this world. Could be that's the first part of the reward. It's just being able to live a tranquil life in this world.
Definitely. If you go too much the other way, then you, like, God forbid, it's like the jihadists who say this world doesn't matter. And
Well, unfortunately, we have a lot of Jews that talk like that too.
I know.
This and not definitely Olam Haba exists, but also in this world you have to know Hashem is around. Any yodea kama, how much reward can a person get? Tzel mad mitzvah tzitzit. Go learn it out from mitzvah of tzitzit. Why is the mitzvah of tzitzit called a light mitzvah?
You don't have to do it. I just put it on.
How many mitzvot do you get for wearing tzitzit?
Every time what's on mine, there's like to wear it and to like see it.
So you have your tzitzit. How many times a day do you get the mitzvah?
Probably whenever
A rabbi said every second that you're wearing your tzitzit, you get a mitzvah. All day long. It's like upping the bank account of mitzvot. You just wear, you always get mitzvot for it. Tzelmad, go and learn out from a story. Mitzvah tzitzit. Maseh be'adam achad. Go. There's a story about one man. Shaya zahir b'mitzvah tzitzit. Who was very, very particular about the mitzvah of tzitzit. He was very careful. This was his mitzvah. Our parents always suggested that a person should have one mitzvah that's their mitzvah. Kiddush or tefillin or etol or one mitzvah that it's your mitzvah. And you're okay. So you're very, very careful to do everything you can do about the mitzvah. More than any other mitzvah that you have. And it becomes your anchor. So this is your schut. They say a story about a rabbi in the Talmud that he used to dance at people's weddings. He would juggle, not at weddings, also weddings, but in Simchat Beit HaShoeva, he would juggle hadassim. The branches, hadassim. They say when he passed away, he went up in a fire, and the fire was in the shape of hadassim that took him out of this world. And he was, the mitzvah went to pay him back, to pay him respect.
How? Fire?
Right, yeah, also.
Where did you get the fire when he died?
That part is above my pay grade. Somewhere Hashem did it. He sent down the fire.
You read about Malachim ascending, like after people. Was it the father of the Nazirite? They saw this angel and they thought it was a man. They said, you will have a Nazir for a son.
That was Shimshon.
Right. So they said, what is your name? And then he just ascended in a flame.
It's not the first time we find Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai in a flame.
He didn't even die.
Eliyahu Navi. All kinds of. There was one man that was very careful with vibes. The Shamash Yesh. He heard that there was one Zona, one lady of the night. Bekrachei Hayam, in the islands somewhere. Shnotelet 400 zehuvim b'schara. That charges 400 gold coins for being with her.
400 gold coins to be with the lady?
That's what it says. I'm reading.
It's market price on those.
Shiger la 400 zovim. He sent her 400 gold coins. The kaval azman, and he made an appointment. Shigi azmano, when it came time for his appointment, ba v'yashav rapetach. He came and he sat by the entrance. Nichnasa shifchada, her secretary came in. It's a very high class lady over here. ואמרה לה, אותו אדם ששיגר לך 400 זהובים בא וישב על הפתח. That man that you have an appointment with, he's here. אמרה היא כנס, tell him to come in. נכנס, he came inside. היא הציעה לו זין מיטות, she put in front of him 7 beds.
7?
7 beds.
Now obviously if you're going to look here, I have not done it myself. I'm sure if you look here in Yaakov, the commentaries on the Haggadah, you'll find all kinds of hidden ideas, 7, gold, all kinds of things you're going to see. Sheshel kesef, 6 of silver, ve'echad shel zahav, and 1 of gold. How comfortable could a gold bed be? Uven kol echad ve'echad, and between every bed, so they were one on top of the other. Sulam shel kesef, there was a silver ladder. Ve'elyona shel zahav, and the top ladder is 1 of gold. 6 beds, 7 beds, 6 silver, 1 gold. 7 ladders, 6 silver ladders, 1 gold ladder. Alta, she went up. V'yashva al gabei elyona k'shi aruman. She sat on the top bed when she was undressed. V'af hu ala lishev arum kenegdan. He also went up undressed. As he was climbing up, Ba'u dalil tzitziyotav, he was holding his clothing, and his 4 tzitziyot came, v'tafchula aparav, and they hit him in the face. I mean, they were hanging around, and they hit him on his face. Nishmat v'yashav lo gabe karka. He immediately pulled back and sat on the floor. V'afi nishmata v'yashva gabe karka. So she also came to sit next to him on the floor. Amra lo, she told him, Gapa shel Romi. That's an swear, like on the one of Rome. Sheini mlichatcha ad shetomar li ma mum reita bi. I won't let you go until you tell me what bad thing you saw about me that you didn't like, that you went to sit on the floor. Amar la, he told her, ha'avodah, I swear to you, shelo reiti isha yefa kmotech. I have never in my life seen a beautiful woman like you. Ela mitzvah echad tzivanu Adonai Eloheinu. There's one mitzvah that Hashem commanded us. V'tzitzit shma, and it's called tzitzit. You have to imagine, by the way, what kind of person this was. If he's going to visit this person, and now he's giving her like a Torah class, sitting there.
Naked.
Well, right. I want you to just... I say this a lot, and I mean it more than I can actually say it in words. We've taken away from people the ability to struggle. Today we demand people to be perfect. And if you're not perfect, so then I won't eat at your house, and I can't talk to your kids, and I won't look at you, and you can't never visit. We don't appreciate that there are people who have great souls are also struggling with things. And it doesn't take away from their struggle that they're great, and it doesn't take away from their greatness that they struggle.
But it's kind of a lie, though, because people struggle with just, it's now what we call black market activity. They have a other life where they do things.
Right.
People
Well,
don't know about.
What
People
happened?
look on the surface like they're perfect, but then there's other things going on.
oh, so this is like it's a double life almost.
Let me hear the story.
Well, we'll get to the story.
He wants the punchline.
He said, I have a mitzvah called tzitzit. Uktiv ba, it says inside of my Torah, Ani Adonai Elohechem shte pamim. It says, Hashem, I am Hashem your God, twice. Ani hu she'atid lipara, v'ani hu she'atid l'shalem sachar. I am the same God that will give consequences, and the same God that will give rewards. עכשיו נדמו עליי כדלת עדים. He said, now these 4 tzitziot, they look to me like 4 witnesses that were going to stand in front of me and testify against me. Amalo, she told him, Ani manichacha, I will not leave you alone. Ad shetomar li ma shimcha, until you tell me your name. Uma shem ircha, the name of your city. Uma shem rabcha, who is your rabbi? Uma shem midrashcha, and what's the name of the yeshiva you study, the midrash? So this is a Torah scholar you're talking about.
You thought you were late?
What's his calling card?
She wants to know. Midrasha she'ata lomed b'Torah. I want to know which midrash you study Torah inside him. This is like what a suicide, career suicide. He's going to give her all this information.
Career ending.
Right? This is what do you want? To call the rabbi enter my city and to put up signs? What do you want?
Show up one day. I'm going to visit my friend, Rabbi so-and-so.
Katav, he wrote it down. Yonatan biyadan, he gave it to her. Amda, she stood up, v'chilka kol nechaseha. She gave away all her possessions. Shlish l'malchut, a third to the royalty, to the government. Shlish l'aniyim, a third to the poor. Ushlish natla biyada, and a third she kept for herself. Chutz mautan metzaot, except for those beds that she had in her house. Ubat lebet midrasho shel Rabbi Chia, and she came to the yeshiva. They correct here Rabbi Achia. That's his name. It's Rabbi Achia. Amra lo Rabbi, she says, Rabbi, tzaveh alai v'yasun gioret. Command them to make me a convert. Let me convert to Judaism. Amar la biti, my daughter, shema elayich natat b'echad min hatalmidim. Maybe you're only coming to convert because you're interested in one of my students? Are you coming to convert for a reason, or are you converting because you love Hashem? Hotzia ktav miyada. She took out this paper from her pocket. V'natana lo, and she gave it to him. There are no ideas over here, okay? Amar la, he told her, Lechi zechi b'mekachech. Go and take your reward. Go get it. Otan metzaot she'itziya lo be'isu. Say our rabbis in the Talmud, those same beds that she offered him in isu, in a prohibited fashion. Hitziya lo beheter. She now was able to give him in a permitted fashion. She converted, they were married, and they lived together. This was a reward both for this world and the next world. This story, first you can make a movie from this story. So there's a zona sitting in the ocean. There's a lady sitting in the ocean. Her job is a perverted, corrupt job. Her profession is a bad one. And yet she's so taken aback. There's one person in the world that has a value more important to them than me. I once married a couple up. And I said, I never thought you would get married. What made you think this girl's the right one? He told me it was the first lady in my life who ever told me no. I couldn't believe it. Who would tell me no? This guy thought he had everything going for him, his career. So I knew it must be someone special. This lady never in her life heard a man tell her no. And why? Because of your God? I need to figure out what it is. Who you are, you must be a special person. The story is mentioned in other sources. He's called a chassid, a righteous man. He's a yeshiva student. And you see that Hashem appreciated the struggle. Not just Hashem, our rabbis appreciated his struggle. Our rabbis appreciated his struggle to the point where they share the story to tell you, look what Tzitzik can do for you. In this world, a person will get rewarded, and in the next world, because he didn't do an avarah. There's so many things we can learn from the story, but there's so many ideas, so many concepts.
Very powerful story, because it's taking the ultimate taiva and turning it around into something.
The exact opposite of the taiva, right? And this is a story that if we would just teach people stories from our rabbis.
It's alive, it's real, it isn't just like like a Christian purity, never look, you know what I mean? It's like taking the base nature of human being, making gold out of it, literally.
Absolutely. Maybe I can read it. I have in my notes a story. And my notes. Maybe I can read this too. I'm reading an English translation.
Eli will always remember this.
Rabbi Yaakov Emden. Have you heard of Rabbi Yaakov Emden?
Yes.
What? From us. The Ya'abetz, Rabbi Yaakov Ben Tzvi. He was the opponent of my wife's grandfather. Great Rabbi.
The what if you
The opponent, Rav Yonatan Eichitz. Old fight. Many wars ago. I'm reading from English, but I once saw the Hebrew inside. He writes in his diary, in Prague, I experienced a challenge similar to that of the biblical saintly Yosef. In fact, mine was somewhat more challenging. Here's a rabbi who was a tzaddik. He was a halach rabbi, a posek. He was an author of many works in philosophy. I have his books on my shelf.
Emden?
Yaakov Emden.
The
The Yavid. You've heard of him? The Yavid? Yeah, okay, there you go. He wrote, I was then a passionate young individual who had been separated from his spouse for a considerable period. Probably traveling or visiting countries, or his wife went away. This happened in the old world. People spend many long periods of time away from each other. I therefore longed for female company, which I had the opportunity of fulfilling in the person of a lovely young lady who was my cousin, who kept me company and who was audacious enough to evince a special affection for me. In fact, she almost embraced me. Indeed, when I was resting in my bed, she came to see if I was well covered. In other words, she wanted me to embrace her. Had I yielded to my baser instincts, she would not have denied me anything. On several occasions, I almost succumbed, just as a flame is attracted to stubble. But the Almighty granted me a strong willpower, as well as an abundance of dignity and courage to prevail over my burning passion. From the diaries of Rabbi Yaakov Emden. Something we quote, we learn his books, we read his writings. I would be afraid to tell you that if we would find this on the diary of Rav Elyashiv, or of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, or of Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, we would say, we were misled, this guy wasn't as holy as he was.
That's what makes you holy.
That's a Christian view of saints, not a
By-
Thank you. This is
By doing that, by overcoming, that's what makes them so holy.
So this is exactly what it is that Chazal are trying to bring out. Our tzaddikim were real people with real struggles, and what was righteous about them was that even as real people with real struggles, they overcame the Yetzer Hara. I was just reading now in a book of Moroccan Jewish philosophy from Morocco, one of the chief rabbis. He wrote there are three kinds of Yetzer Haras. Three kinds of people with the Yetzer Hara. One who a person overcomes the Yetzer Hara. One where Yetzer Hara overcomes a person. And one where the Yetzer Hara is afraid of the person. He said that's a tzaddik. He reached the point where it's not like he got... somebody here once asked, destroyed his Yetzer Hara. Didn't destroy his Yetzer Hara. But he told his Yetzer Hara, you better be afraid of me. I'm worse for you than you are for me.
Stay away.
But you found tzaddikim were real people with real struggles. And when we hide those struggles from people, we make it unattainable to ever become a tzaddik.
They don't know it.
Absolutely. But we have, and our Torah, our Talmud, our texts are filled with such stories. Tzitzit, our rabbis tell us there's a midrash. And this is what end today. Our rabbis tell us that why does a Jew wear tzitzit? It says tzitzit, domeh lechever, is like a rope. So a person is drowning at sea, and a ship comes to save him, and there are waves and storms, and they throw him down a rope. They say, hold on to the rope, and we'll pull you out, but we first have to get out of the storm. It's just the only way you're going to survive, to hold on to those ropes. At tzitzit, says the midrash, that's the rope that Hashem throws down to us. The world is a raging storm. A person that have tzitzit, I'm holding on. It looks like a rope. You see, it's a chevel, a real rope. You've ever seen sailors with their ropes? They're not using, fishing wire. They're the real rope. When we're holding on these ropes, it's the only thing that will get us through this world. And the person knows our tzitzit, it's much more than just clothing that we wear with knots. It's a lifestyle. It's our ability to say, even in my hardest times, my tzitzit are going to remind me who I am. Many times a person should walk in the street, and if they wear their tzitzit out, hold on to your tzitzit. And if not, just touch your pants where you could feel your tzitzit, or your shirt where you could feel your tzitzit. Say, this is what's going to get me through this struggle. This is what's going to get me through this day. Tzitzit, also at night. Tzitzit, there's something that protects a person, that we're connected with them. Reminds us, you should remember them. It's called mitzvot Hashem. You remember all the mitzvot of Hashem. Tzitzit is that one thing where you remember, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in my life. Why do we have Kehillat in our tzitzit? The blue string? Why do our Rabbi say? What does it represent? We mentioned on a historical level. It says Tchelet and Domelayam. Tchelet is like the ocean. Not Pacific Ocean, doesn't look this color, but if you go to Israel and you look at the water, it's of this color. Every time I drive by Haifa, by the beach, between Atlit and Haifa, I go like this, out of the bus window, just to make sure. Tchelet is like the ocean. The ocean, Domel Harakia. The ocean is similar color to the sky. Harakia Domel Kisei HaKavod. And the Rakia, the sky, is similar to the color of Hashem's throne. Just to remind you, this is our connection to above. According to Kabbalah, without getting into everything, the Rizal writes, you don't see it. That's because we lost the tradition over time. If you look at our tzitziot, we have 8 strings. 8 strings, says Rabbi Chaim Vital in Shaar Mitzvot, what's it called? The Kotei Mitzvot? His book on the Mitzvot, Shaar Kavanot, thank you. Shaar Kavanot, Rabbi Chaim Vital says there are 7 heavens and 1 world. Every one of your strings in your tzitzit is compared to one of those heavens and one of those worlds. That's why you have 8. And a person should know we have something that grounds us and something that holds us up high. And tzitzit is not a small thing. We learn about the halachot of tzitzit, not to forget what tzitzit means. What is a talit? What are we doing with it? Rabbi Nachman of Breslov says that you wear your talit. At the end of tefillah, cover your head with your talit and say, I just need 5 minutes with Hashem under my talit where nobody can see me. I used to see the Halevy Rabbi do this. The Halevy Rabbi, when he would pray, he would, still alive, but when he was standing and active and doing the things he was able to do, the Rebbe would stand at where he prayed. At the end of Shemoneh Esrei, he would take his talit, and the middle of the talit was on his head, and it was draping over him in both directions, and he would stand there for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just doing whatever the Halevy Rebbe did in his talit. The person has to have that chance, an ability to connect. Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, when he got married, he got his talit, and then later in life he gave his talit to somebody as a gift when he got a new talit. And he said to this chassid, he said, take my talit and wear it well, because it took me many, many tears staining this talit until I truly appreciated what a talit was, what tzitzit were, what they connected me to Hashem. Such an easy mitzvah, but so many details. We're going to learn those details together, B'ezrat Hashem, and I look forward to the next season, the next era of learning together the halachot, the laws of tzitzit, and God willing, they should do for us exactly what they did for this chassid. They should get us out of troubling situations, and may we see the reward of them in this world, B'ezrat Hashem.